Good evening, everybody. Welcome to America's Third Parties Part 2. I'm working on getting links together for a whole series of things we're going to talk about. The collusion that's been happening is so deep that it cuts beyond your wildest imagination. We're not talking about no collusion. We're talking about total collusion. And this is an ongoing process of revealing information. We have Nancy Pelosi in our chat room. Thanks, Nancy, for making an appearance, and I appreciate your concern about this, because I really believe with this verdict coming out of Mueller, and 3 weeks ago apparently he told Barr that they weren't going to pursue obstruction charges. We're still wondering why Barr held back 3 weeks, but we're finding out that now we're looking at Mueller told Barr 3 weeks ago. We've got this link here. Hang on a second. There we go. We have this link you can get to, and if you go to @ThirdParty, folks, you can actually get to all these different links we have. Constructed a story about, this is the story I was trying to get to earlier. We've got the timeline of the Russian contacts, but this is the one that really kind of shocked me. I pulled up archive footage from our older links, and Russian ambassador told Moscow that Kushner wanted secret communication channel with the Kremlin. Now, that was never investigated. Okay, Morpheus, you got something there? Now, that was never investigated. That's one link. I'm going to post it in the room for you. You can archive this stuff, Nancy. This is a timeline that really covers the whole story. Really, and well done. If you have any people that want to, in the chat room, get information on this. The timeline of the entire event is very well laid out, this New York Times event. And I need to remind everybody that New York Times did an outstanding job early on with the Russian investigation. Thank you for saving them. This next link, I mentioned AG William Barr is hardly an objective person to share the Mueller report. He wrote a 19-page letter to Rod Rosenstein defending the Russian agent Michael Flynn, who had access to the top U.S. secrets for 24 days as National Security Advisor. This is the link to that story. See if I can get to it. Yep. This is a 19-page memo, and it's very odd that Bill Barr, our current Attorney General, would write a letter saying that Rod Rosenstein shouldn't pursue obstruction. He's not unbiased. He's not objective. He clearly is putting his tilt on this, which is not good for the country. And I still believe that they're covering up a tremendous amount of collusion going on, and I don't trust this man. Not when he tried to get Michael Flynn, released of any indictments at all. And then we find out right after that he was a Russian agent. Tons of cover-up. It's unbelievable, Nancy. I'm actually shocked at the way our country's behaved under this Mueller. He just basically wasted 2 years of time. And this is the point I was making, that Manafort didn't have a second trial. We never found out about it. About laundering money, witness tampering, and lying to Justice Department, acting as an unregistered foreign agent. Obvious abridgment of justice has occurred. That's a link you can get to. I think you're well aware of that one. I don't have to give you guys that. That's pretty much right front row center in this case. And then let's not forget, Robert Mueller was the guy that signed off the 9/11 Commission report. We're still a little bit unsure about that. Architects and engineers for 9/11 are extremely upset. They're actually asking for a presentation of new evidence in the fact that we haven't even found the perpetrators of this terrible crime against 2,996 people. To this day, we still need answers, and we haven't gotten them. And why is there no meeting of the secret meeting that happened between Trump and the Russian diplomats the day after he fired Comey? Tass was there. You can take this link. This is the New York Times again. Here it is, and this tells it all. I mean, why did Trump meet the Russians right after he fired James Comey? I mean, what a weird, odd timing, and very, very suspicious and indicative of collusion, and was never even mentioned. And this is a very interesting connection, Nancy, to the Chabad Leibovich Barr's 4-page summary said Mueller did not find evidence the Trump campaign conspired with the Russian government to meddle. And though Mueller himself did not make a determination on the issue, the Attorney General also determined Trump did not obstruct justice. It's very odd, yeah, especially since he's on record. He's on record claiming that he didn't want to pursue obstruction, and he was trying to defend Michael Flynn. Yeah, that's like classic working for Russia. It's almost like somebody made a phone call to William Barr and said, hey, you got to do something for me. I want you to write this letter, a 19-page letter to Rod Rosenstein, and can tell him not to bother with the obstruction charge. Kind of like what happened with Stormy Daniels when she was putting her little 1-year-old child in the jumper seat of her SUV, and some thug came by and said, hey, you better drop the Trump thing, or, oh, what a pretty little daughter. We wouldn't want anything to happen to her mother now, would we? Seriously. Crazy. Anyway, this is a real interesting read, Nancy. The Chabad Leibovich organization is where Donald Trump got all his money in New York. That's pretty much where he connected all the dots to the Russian oligarchs. So that's a serious story. Yeah, more investigations are underway, and we do know that Mueller passed the torch over to a grand jury investigation team, so it's not over yet. And I know that whatever you guys, the Democrats, decide to do will be in the best interest of our country, but clearly we need to turn over every stone in order to save the nation from the Russians and their takeover of our government. Clearly the Trump thing has gone way too far. He's in debt to the Deutsche Bank, who's been known for money laundering. He's got all kinds of entanglements in New York here. This story talks about where it's going from here. There's a very good link. Awesome. They're moving fast in New York State. They're going to have a case against him. Donald Trump will have to actually run for president in 2020 to cover him from getting federal felonies, paying off Stormy Daniels, violating election law, all of that. I still think the emoluments case is got some merit to it. You can't profit from the White House. This is a travesty of justice, I wrote. Mueller report finds no obstruction, ? The mere act of Trump firing the man investigating him in order to end the investigation is obstruction. Mueller was obviously compromised. Let's not talk about the Nazis that have embedded themselves in our country. I did a story on that here. And then the Mueller Barr not telling anybody 3 weeks ago that obstruction charges were not going to be imposed. So that's the sum total of our @third-party links that were buried in there. We've got a lot of others, though, Nancy. Here is a story from a very important story that I think the Democrats need to move on. A very important story. Trump inaugural committee paid $26 million to a friend of the First Lady. These stories get buried in the minutia of things that happen in the media. Democrats have a number of investigations of their own into Trump. Yes, his business empire, his administration, everything probing how the White House is handing out top security clearances to trying to get Trump's tax returns. Absolutely. Time is of the essence right now, I think. The sooner the better. We can't just, expect you guys to get all this information right away, but whatever Adam Schiff has, hand that over to a team of people that can move rapidly. I know Maxine Waters has been trying to raise awareness for this. That's a good thing. But our country is literally being hijacked by a group of globalists and possibly even Russia themselves. And the way that they're saber rattling and threatening us, I hope so, because I really believe that the mandate of the American people was for you to pursue some impeachment of some sort. I know you think it's a waste of time, but I think you got the midterms elections in the House because of this. I really think it's a galvanizing issue for you. And if you can come through with the goods, you might just win the upcoming 2020 election. You never know. I would certainly hope you have the right people in the right position, but as you know, I'm running as a third-party candidate as an alternative, but I just don't want more of this ridiculous tax breaks for the rich. You guys are literally going to be without $5.5 trillion in revenue in the next 10 years, thanks to the Republicans and Donald Trump. I think there's efforts. I agree with you, but I think there's efforts of the CIA and the FBI that are solid. I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I think that there are people in the FBI and the CIA and the Office of Government Ethics that actually have merit. I don't think we should even attack the offices. We need to clean them. There's nothing like cleaning house on occasion. But the institutions that we have, like these organizations, can serve a major purpose in future foreign policy and U.S. Investigations. Obviously, the FBI has a lot to do. And what happened to James Comey is classic, really. Firing a guy who's doing an investigation is classic obstruction. Okay, this is a story that just doesn't seem to, have an answer as to why this woman, Stephanie Winston Wolkoff, a New York party planner, got $26 million right after Donald Trump got $30 million from the NRA. It just reeks of payback and play for pay, or maybe Melania was getting paid on the side. Who knows? Oh, excuse me, but I'm going to not show this to you. This is the Trump escort service that he had in New York. He claims it wasn't his, but he never sued these people over the copyright name violation. I know this is upsetting to see the cleavage. Yeah, I'm going to have to move on. Trump's companies have at least $650 million in debt, some of it to the Bank of China. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, an investigation into more than 30 U.S. properties connected Donald Trump, revealing companies that have at least $650 million in foreign debt. Now, why he should be over there negotiating for China, I don't know. Or in our stead, a man who owes China should not be negotiating for China. And of course, Trump has not accounted for this. And this is a Huffington Post article regarding the investigation that's going on. And I read this entirely. It shows that there is so much weird maneuvering of money in paying back for broadcasting fees for his election that it definitely reeks of corruption. That some guy named Gay got a tremendous amount of money. I know. Yep. There's a lot of kickback going on here. Pay for play. And where's all the money that Michael Cohen got delivered back to Donald Trump? I have a feeling that these guys just move in cash. And I have a feeling Manafort moved a lot of cash into Trump's pocket. I think that's why there's no real paper trail here. Remember, if Trump has been making money in the mob business in New York for a lot of time, it's very likely that a lot of things are just moving with suitcases of cash. We had a person on iVlog just last night say that he worked for Mueller. And this is some guy who could have been chatting and saying things off the top of his head, too. But he said he worked for Mueller recently, and he said Mueller was very weird, almost giddy with happiness, like he was making a lot of money. And then he also said that he saw 5 bags of money passing outside of Donald Trump's recent landing. There was some weird story about bags of money moving recently. It's like, I'm really wondering if this is just like a pay-for-play thing. Yeah. That was just somebody in a chat room. I can't verify. It's just hearsay. But he said that Mueller was acting giddy almost, and according to Rudy Giuliani, they got $30 million for this. So it's pretty suspicious. That's for sure. Okay, we got a link here from Scissor Fight. Let's take a look here. More on the New Zealand shooting, which looks more and more suspicious as time goes on. Especially since they tried to pull all the video that was out that we found all kinds of technical errors in. I'll play that in a little bit, Scissor Fight. Thank you. 23-minute video we'll have tonight in our after show. Cool. All right, so I think this wig has been successful. I don't have to put the other wig on Wig Wednesday. But yeah, we've got a pretty good set of links there, leading all the way back to Donald Trump's, recent assessment. Anyway, my biggest concern is now that war is heating up, potential for war is heating up in Venezuela. Russia is sending in 500 troops. The U.S. has got, they say, 500 at least at the border. I don't believe that any of these people are necessarily real Guest 235. So far, Nancy Pelosi and Mel Gibson have been concurrent with the way they would normally behave in the chat room. The people that represent these people, if they are not themselves, are doing a really good job of impersonating themselves. So I will say that. Mel Gibson came in our show the other night, totally, ripped. But man, if he isn't the real guy, I've met people in Hollywood. I understand, the mindset. And he really did come off as real. So they're doing a really good job of faking who they are if they're really faking this. But anyway, Nancy, I appreciate your time here. It's really concerning the American people, that, especially the popular vote, that is important in the upcoming election, that these people are not getting what they want. They want full disclosure. They want transparency. And Donald Trump looks like a basket full of lies. He looks like he's just constantly lying. And I think George Conway, Kellyanne Conway's husband, has been the most vocal person in D.C., and I'm glad that he's actually saying what he's saying. Yeah, even Chat Room Celebrity said it's definitely Mel Gibson. Hey, I have been doing this for 10 years, folks, and if you think that I haven't attracted an audience in Hollywood with all my international play on UHF, you have no idea. What has happened is our show has been censored heavily for the past 10 years because the American people really don't want change. They thought they wanted it with Obama, but they really are kind of hesitant. And the people who are running the show, they know that. And they don't want anybody to offer better plans than they've got. So without viewership in America, my plans are not seen by the people who need them most. But I've got ideas that Trump has taken and used as his own. And I can implement those plans a lot better with a much fairer approach to both sides of the political spectrum than Donald is giving. Donald is divisive. He's chosen to be a very angry and divisive person. He's not a team player. There is collusion. Yeah, total collusion. Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you liked my broadcast, because it's important that this is a lot of fun and a lot of entertainment for a lot of people, and we keep politics alive. And it's important to know that we are being suppressed by the mainstream media. They won't cover our story. I've had 2 visits in my house, 20 minutes long, where they had high-end cameras, news crews, and they interviewed me, and they never published any of my ideas. So that's really, one of the reasons, the impetus for a lot of my unique style of communicating. Doing the blackface video was just a way of actually satirically dealing with corruption in both branches of our government, especially how Obama implemented his plans poorly. As time went on, he didn't get enough done, and he proved to be kind of like Trump in that way. He didn't want to talk to the other side. And I think that was something I needed to make a satirical statement about. And I couldn't have done it in whiteface. It was impossible to impersonate Barack Obama in whiteface. Well, let's be clear. Wow, tricking a scammer. IRS, SSA scammer is being tricked. IRL Rosie's, she's funny.
Hi, I'm just returning your call.
You received a call.
I got a call this morning and I just now listened to the voicemail. I just got off work.
Alright. Okay, can you please verify me what kind of voice message did you receive?
It was something about my information being compromised.
Alright, so before I...
Yeah, she does a really good job. She does great voice work, and I enjoy watching her show just as much as Kit Boga. Thank you for that link, Scissor Fight. I'll play it tonight. Yep, scamming the scammers. People have been tricking people for a long, long time, phishing people, getting their information, their personal information, promising to send them money from Nigeria. And she goes right back and gets these people to try to fix your computer from online, claiming you got a contamination and a virus. They take advantage of old people who have no idea what they're doing. Yeah, so we're going to try to, bring out that tonight in our late show. They gave me 40 minutes of interview time, but they never published more than 12 seconds of it. I was swatted back in 2015, and my local government didn't even publish it as a police report. Yeah. It was a terrible day. We had already published all our information with the local police, and they knew about us in advance. But here's the loop. I'll play it for you.
So I went outside, and I immediately saw a sting operation in my neighborhood.
The SWAT team had a controversial politician surrounded Friday night. They raced to his house thinking he'd stabbed his girlfriend to death, but it was a prank call. Authorities are looking for a man who called in the fake hostage situation.
And that call resulted in a SWAT situation outside the home of a third-party presidential candidate on Whidbey Island. KIRO 7's Natasha Chen found out this is not the first time that candidate has been targeted.
Process
Trying to
was,
avoid pain.
she was ahead of me, and she had to lay down, and then I had to lay down, and then they cuffed me.
One moment, David Sponheim was inside his home doing his nightly video chat with supporters. The next moment, he was on the ground in his driveway with SWAT surrounding him.
It was almost surreal.
It was all because of this call.
Okay, and you said you just stabbed your girlfriend?
Yes,
Okay.
I think she's dead. Her nieces are tied up in the bathroom right now.
Okay, well listen, what's your name?
Her name is David.
That wasn't him, but the caller gave dispatch Sponheim's address.
This is not the first time Sponheim says he's been the victim of a hoax. Several years ago, he said there was a bomb threat. Then 2 months ago in June, someone called in a threat, again pretending to be him.
It's evil in the sense that it's a sick joke. It's a sick hoax that people are trying to, they think it's funny.
Even though Sponheim says he gave the sheriff deputies his phone number during the last hoax, the sheriff told me they somehow didn't store it in their system. Sponheim says detectives should have realized it was a prank because they even got on Sponheim's live video chat to ask his partner to call 911. I asked Sponheim whether he's being targeted because of videos he's done in blackface.
It's ironic people don't understand that this country was founded on and predicated on freedom of speech, and my right to impersonate the president was paramount.
But he and the sheriff are frustrated at how these pranks wasted important resources.
You can't possibly expect to get away with it. There's a lot of weirdos out there that are going to come out of the closet thinking that they can take a pot shot at somebody like me.
In Oak Harbor, Natasha Chen, KIRO 7 News.
Yeah, so that happened back in 2015, and it was a bummer. It really was. And it only took about 10 minutes of our time, but it was tragic, and we're still kind of rebounding from it. The emotional suffering of having 17 or 15 armed police officers with AR-15s at laser sightings at your face, insisting on going through your house without a search warrant. It was bizarre. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Nancy. Well, you're in a very good position to get the word out on Donald Trump and certainly start elevating this case to a higher level. I think the links I gave you will give you a little bit of alternative views that we have picked up over the years on Trump, and I went and scraped them from my old libraries. I have storage of links all over the place, and hopefully they'll give you some ideas to pursue. I also think the Betsy DeVos thing needs to be investigated. 9.5 million in donations and 200 million to the Republican National Committee. That can't just go unchecked by the Democrats. They need to look into that. That's clearly bribery. I mean, clearly. I don't know about the other billionaires that became secretaries of this and that. And the work you're doing with Acosta is right on target. His light sentencing for Jeffrey Epstein is very suspicious. Yeah, very suspicious. And Jeffrey Epstein seems to be getting a light case even now. The guy who's handling the judge just died. They gave it to a 96-year-old judge to handle, and he just died, so the court case is still in suspended animation. Really weird stuff. Yep. All right, Wasteful Wednesdays. We got a good show tonight. We got a woman who's going through dumpsters to live out of the dumpster, and she shows you how she's doing it. 21-minute video about that. We've got the scammer being scammed. That's another good one. Thank you. Yeah, the SWAT situation was really traumatic, and what really bothers me is that every year 1,200 people die by police officer. Every year. There are a lot of cop deaths too. got 167, I think, last year. So that's not something we should just ignore either. But 1,200 people were killed last year and the year before. And most of them were unarmed. Police brutality is at an all-time high, and I think we have to really kind of get sensitivity training going on in our metropolitan police departments. And I think we could tie a bill together that would actually, kind of force their hand. A federal-funded bill that says, hey, you've got to go through sensitivity training. We can't allow these cops in the force. And what's happening in important cities across the nation, like Chicago and New York and LA and Miami and DC, they're all important cities. But the breakdown in our social fabric is partly due to this brutality. People are pissed off. There are very angry people in the world. They're not happy. And they're making their voice known, as they should. I don't know if you've ever seen Reverend Manning, but he's really an amazingly powerful speaker. Yeah, this guy really says it all.
Either there's going to be a revolution, Patrick Henry style here in America, where red-blooded, God-fearing, Jesus-loving Americans are going to stand up and say, we're not going to take it no more. We just take it.
That's right. All right, this is very, very dirty. Don't play this. Okay, I won't. Dirty Diana. Okay, I won't play that. Chicago police wrong raid birthday party. Wow. Here they are making raids in areas that you don't even know what's going on. It's like, okay. Raiding an innocent group of people, and police raid the wrong home during birthday party.
Good evening. I'm Brad Edwards.
And I'm Erica Sargent. She is only 7. But she told CBS 2 investigator Dave Savini just what it was like when police raided her home with guns drawn.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be looking at that tonight as well. I thought they were going to shoot me and my brother and everyone else. Yeah. And that shooting in Wichita where the young man opened the door and he was immediately killed. He was with his family and immediately she got shot when he just lowered his arms a little bit. And it turns out the police had the wrong house and they didn't even check the name with the SWAT attack. Yeah. Lots of bad things are happening in that department, that's for sure. All right, we're going to... Chicago PD. Dirty. Body language. I'm trying to take my mind off the show. Your 3 biggest, most unexpected resale scores. Antique buying and reselling. Yeah, this is what we do on Wasteful Wednesday. When the partial...
So I think the
partial government shutdown happened, we found out that a lot of people in the Coast Guard couldn't find any money. They were being told by Donald Trump to go, sell stuff on eBay. Well, actually, that's not such a bad idea. You might want to clean your house if you ever have a financial pinch. It's a great way to, keep lean in your home and not collect too much and be a pack rat. And it's another way to generate some serious income. So this woman has a story about resale and how much she's made. We'll give you that tonight.
the story is that sometimes just go with your gut. My family calls it my superpower. It's my ability to see value in things that other people might overlook.
Cool. That's going to be fun. That'll be good to watch. Thank you, Scissor Fight. Yeah, I used to sell on eBay, and I can tell you, if you have an eye for certain things like Minolta cameras, you can clean up. I'm not kidding. Minolta cameras and Nikon cameras, the original ones, people put them out there for 10, 20 bucks. You can flip those for 50 to 100 to 200. So if you see those at garage sales, grab them. You can turn them on eBay. They'll sell right away. So if you sold all your stuff, you'd survive in only a month anyway? Okay. Well, this is about looking around and finding stuff that most people don't find value in and grabbing it and then selling it. The throwaway cameras take good pics? Okay. Yeah, cameras, and they're lightweight to ship, too. Now, Scissor Fight's been, looking at all kinds of electronics, receivers. Those things sell from the 1970s and 80s. Hey, thank you for coming in, Nancy. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to sign off, everybody. We are going into the next phase of our show. I'll add that link to the abandoned, vacant millionaire mansion. with a large pool and dungeon basement. Ooh, that's weird. Thank you. Excellent. Take care, everybody. Thank you for coming in, Nancy. It's been a pleasure to know that you're at least watching our show. That's great. Hope it's working out for everyone. We're going to keep this ball alive. Thank goodness the Democrats won the midterms and they can actually lead in more discovery and more reveals in what Donald Trump was up to all these years as he rigged the election in favor of him with the Russia's help. And that's a fact, Jack. You can't deny that. That's a fact. All right. Thank you again for coming in, and we'll be seeing you guys tomorrow for Technology Thursday. I'm going to be cooking some bacon-wrapped chicken tenderloins, chicken breast, along with some crispy potato fries. Yeah. Okay, I am, in fact, Mr. Right, and I will sign off with that. Take care, everyone. Good night.
My feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good to be true. My world around, cause you're the peace I find. If you sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. My Mr. Right, too good to be true.